The presentation should deliver the dot or the sights, if you're using iron sights, automatically to a point in space that's between the dominant eye and the target. One of the things that happens with iron sight shooters is that we tend to see people throw the gun up and then find the sights and then line everything up and then press the trigger. That would be called aiming with the sights. Or if we throw the gun up and find the dot and then put it where we want the hole, that would be finding the dot. What we want is our presentation to automatically deliver the dot between our dominant eye and the target. So we're not aiming with the dot, we're aiming with our presentation. The presentation automatically delivers the dot where we want it to go. And this is not a new idea. Colonel Cooper said the presentation achieves alignment and the sights verify alignment. And it was as true then as it is now, or it's as true now as it was then. And he was a pretty smart guy, teaching red dot techniques before red dots were a thing. So why is presentation the key? The big factor is time. Presentation does not matter for a brand new shooter. They have all the time in the world to bring the gun up, find the dot or find the sights, line everything up, and take the shot. Once you get into competition, qualifiers, classifiers, or self-defense situations, now all of a sudden time is a big factor, and we don't have time to screw around. Things need to show up and things need to happen automatically. We talked about how novices aim versus aiming for self-defense, with bringing the gun up and then finding the sights or the dot versus having the presentation deliver the sights or the dot between our dominant eye and the target. And this is important to go into just a hair. So the type of aiming that novices do, where you bring the gun up and then you try and find the dot, that is called a cybernetic loop or an error correcting loop. And I just love the word cybernetic, so that's why I always use it when I teach. But how much time does that take? And the answer is, if somebody has a healthy neurological system and they're not stressed, each time they look at their dot and either see or don't see the dot, process what they saw, and then decide what action to take based on what they saw, it's going to be a minimum of 0.15 to 0.50 seconds. It's a fairly significant delay. If I come up and I can't find my dot and I'm moving 2-3 times trying to find it before I finally do, each time I'm tacking on another 0.15 to 0.5 seconds. There are several different modifiers on this, stress being one of them. It can take 15 seconds to accurately interpret a situation and take the correct action on it. If you are redlining, if lighting is bad, if the situation is novel and not something that you're used to, and based on sleep and hydration and blood sugar, all sorts of different things. So 0.15 to 0.50 is a very optimistic number. This is not an area where the science is clean. We've got 2 studies here. Just the observational part. One of them showed that people can detect meaning in an image when they've got 13 seconds of exposure time. Another one said that we cannot detect meaning with 27 milliseconds. That dirty science is rampant in stuff like this where things start getting complex. And so what we want to look at is fundamentals and the things that we know. And there is no absolute time. I wish there was an absolute time, because that would be really cool to share. But needless to say, if we can bring the gun up and the dot automatically appears where we want to put the hole, it's going to be a lot faster than if we have to adjust. So when we present the firearm and the dot automatically shows up between our dominant eye and the target, we aren't aiming with the dot, we're verifying with the dot. And again, much, much quicker, ties into what Cooper taught. How do we do that? How do we make that happen? How do we do it better? There's three main ways to do this.